Welcome to Home Team Advantage. I'm Gary Gimbetti along with Mike Egan, here to discuss today's topics in sports. And we got
36 people watching us.
so thank you for those people who do tune in.
Yep. Spread the word.
On YouTube and all the other ways that HPAT comes to you on the internet.
Yep.
So I don't know if you can call us internet sensations, but maybe we're close. I don't know.
Yeah. It's only been, 8 years? Maybe we'll take off sooner or later.
The longest running show on HPAT, can we call ourselves that? I don't know.
I think.
I would say so,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
whether we're exciting to watch or not, I don't know, but
I want to go, don't stretch it.
no, don't want to do that. But we have I'm not listing any names because I'm not going to forget anybody. But the girls' track team is sending a whole bunch of athletes down to state next week at St. Michael Albertville. So we'll just say good luck to them. I mean, I know they have people in the 4x8, 4x4, 4x1, which qualified by time standard. They placed third overall in that in the section meet, but they did hit the time standard for state. And then I know we have a 3200 and a 1600 runner, and that one I know. I mean, is Tara Hurtley, and I mean she's ending her career fantastically. So congratulations to Tara.
One question I have though is I asked my granddaughter this is, how does the state set that time that has to be beat? Do you know?
I think it's the best time from last year,
Okay.
from last year's state tournament, I believe, because they do the same thing in swimming. So you can make it to swimming by time standard.
Okay.
And then I know we have an 800 runner too. I don't want to forget that, and that's Bryn Babich.
Yep.
And she switched from the 400 to the 800 this year, and she's doing a fantastic job with that switch. So I kind of asked her, why did you want to run farther?
Longer.
Yeah. And she was very good-natured about it. I mean, but she found out that she can do more if she runs the 800.
Yeah.
You know, she has more time to, but she has to strategize now going down to state. She'll have to strategize that amongst some of the best 800 runners in the state. So
I think you just looked up that word this morning, didn't you?
strategize.
Strategize.
No, I got that from Serena. So she's the one who said we'll talk to
Is
her
that the
before the
strategy?
races. Yeah, about the strategy part of
Yeah.
it. Because she does, you know, she likes to go out and run, but at some points you got to sit back and take the proper time to make your move. So,
Well, good luck to all the runners.
and then Finn Escalay was the only boy who made it to state, and he made it in the 400, and he made it by time standard as well because he finished third. He told me that the guy passed him with about 10 meters to go, and he was just kind of all bummed out, but at least he kept fighting through to the finish line, and it paid off for him because he got the opportunity to go to state in his final year. So good luck to him as well. Golfing, I believe the boys golfers, they were in second after the first day last week, and then I believe they finished fourth, or it was third or fourth.
Okay.
And but they got the Section 7A AA champion in Andrew Slatton, so congratulations to Andrew. This will be his third year at state, and he when I'll talk to the golfers tomorrow at the country club. And then Ava Sadness, I believe, and then Blake Swanger, both advanced for the girls.
Do you know where they're playing that? Is it same? Is it the university course
It's usually at Sand Creek in Jordan.
Oh,
So I believe that's where they're going. So, you know, I'll ask Andrew about, I heard the course has its idiosyncrasies. There's another big word, yeah. 2 in a row.
wow. Call
It is,
Webster's
yeah.
dictionary. Gary's
So-
on a roll.
I'll ask Andrew about those and what he can do to combat that. And, you know, I can't remember the 2 places he has taken recently, but I'll find out tomorrow about that. Or, you know, could look online, but I'm not going to take the time right now to do that. But hopefully he can get in the top 10.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a sweet, you know, way to end his senior season.
Yeah. And hopefully the weather holds for all the events so that everybody can get an opportunity to do it. So good.
And the baseball team unfortunately lost to Chisago Lakes last Saturday in an elimination game, and I can't remember, the score was like 15-7 or something. And they just Chisago Lakes came up here to play and had their hitting shoes on, and we did somewhat early, but then all of a sudden it kind of faded off, and that was it for the baseball team. And
I suppose we need to congratulate the guys over at the.
well, that's, I hope my story is fitting. I did do the public address last night because they moved the game from North Branch because Hermantown and Grand Rapids were in it.
Yep.
They moved it to here to a neutral field last night. And so I did the public address, and I had to take some pictures, and I covered the game, just not knowing if the Grand Rapids reporter was going to be here or not. But I asked him, Bill was sitting, because on Tuesday night, North Branch and Rock Ridge played, or no, Hermantown and Rock Ridge played in the semifinal or the finals of the elimination bracket. And of course, they all had their pitchers back from the week before.
Yep.
So I'm sure they all both started their number one kids. Well, the game went into the seventh inning, tied, I think 3-3. Okay. So I'm sure they lost, assuming that their pitchers ran out of pitches.
Yep.
Okay, well, the game kept going on and on and on and on. And they went 12 innings before Hermantown finally won the game. And it was a walk-off hit by pitch, I understand.
Okay.
In the bottom, they walked. Rock Ridge walked the River Freeman to load the bases, and then I heard that the next batter got hit, and
Oh, wow.
that forced home the winning run with 2 outs. So which it kind of, that's a heartbreaker.
Tough way to end, yeah.
I know, that's a tough way to end. You're right.
But that's kind of what happened to Cherry when their semifinal game is their star pitcher ran out of pitch count,
He did.
and they brought in. Why they brought in the kid they brought in?
Well, they
I don't
had to
know.
bring. Well, and it's not that Cherry's got enough pitching.
Yep.
But obviously Noah Sundquist is their ace.
Yep.
But but so who knows how many? Well, who know? I don't know who their number ones or number. I kind of know who the number ones are, but the number 2 pitchers I don't
Yep.
know. But when you go 7 in, then you go 5 more innings, you had to probably put your number 2 in.
Well, let me throw this one at you then. You agree with the pitch count?
I don't
If a kid
know.
can throw 85 pitches, why can't he throw 95?
Well, but no, you're right there. The question is, I think they give them, it's 105 pitches during the regular season. that
Well,
you
they can pitch
go.
up to, my understanding, they can pitch up to 85, and if they have a batter when they hit 85, they can finish with that batter, and then they're done.
Yes, but then you need so many days rest.
Correct, 3 days.
So 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
But now if you're up to 105 pitches and or 115, which it might be increased to in the playoffs.
Right.
I think that you're right. I don't know how many days off it is, but it's either 4 or 5 days off after that. But both those teams had to have burned their number ones and number twos in those games. And and I don't want to downplay Hermantown's number 3 starting pitcher, because he was very good. I mean, he looked the part last night. He was throwing, but Kinnunen came in with a full complement of pitching staff because they had all those days off. That's why it works to be undefeated.
It does.
Yeah, you don't have to play as many games.
Well, now that you skirted around the issue, you never did answer my question. Do you agree with the pitch count?
I'm a politician. No. Yeah, I guess I do, because that seems to be the big. Back in the day, I remember a kid that played for the college here, who I think pitched like every day.
Well, that's
I called him Rubber Arm because he never. But I don't know now.
the reason I bring it up is I watched the girls' softball college tournament the other day, and granted it's a different motion, everything's different, but she threw 150 pitches,
Well,
and the day before she threw 95.
it's different. It's not as hard on your arm.
Well, I
That's the
understand
thing.
that,
It's
but-
not as hard. Throwing overhand is a lot harder, and throwing those, especially if you're throwing
The curve,
sliders and
yep,
curveballs,
yep.
Then it gets really tough, because it's easier to throw a curveball underhand than I think it is
Yep.
throwing a baseball overhand. But yeah, I think so, because you don't want to hurt. Well, I don't know. Have you ever heard of a high school kid have Tommy John surgery?
And not
No,
lately.
no, I can't say I've done that.
But you mentioned the other day, or our last show, that the kids from, what was he throwing 90-mile-an-hour fastball?
Oh, I don't know, what kid?
Or some up in the high 80s?
Yeah,
week?
probably, yeah.
I mean, that's,
You're throwing it pretty good, yeah, no, you're not kidding.
and you got a young batter in the batter's box, it's some guy throwing 85 miles an hour. Something's gonna give, and it's not gonna be the bat.
Nope. But yeah, I guess I do kind of agree with it. I'll go out there and
Okay.
say that I do, because you don't want to throw somebody's arm out
No.
at this young of age. But yeah, but Rapids, it was 1-1 after 2 innings, and then Rapids scored 7 runs in the third
Floodgates
inning.
open, yeah.
Yeah, and 2 of them came home on suicide squeeze bunts. They had bases loaded on both of them.
You know, I watched the highlights of that game last night on the local sports channel, and I remember when I was coaching the junior league team, we played Rapids, and I said, they're gonna bunt it. I just know, and that's their favorite play. And when we played them, they bunted 4 times in a row, you know.
Well, they're going to bunt until you
Until you
field
figure
it.
it out, yeah.
Yeah, until you field it and
Yeah.
throw them out. And that happened. I was told a story last night that happened. Oh, I think it was the Ely. It was 7A game, Ely and Cherry, to get back into the finals, I guess. Ely bunted 4 straight times, and Cherry couldn't field
Yeah.
and throw out anybody. So that hurt Cherry not being able to field the bunt and get runners thrown out. Yeah, no, I know it was a good game. I mean, Hermantown had hitters. I mean, there's no doubt they can hit the ball too, but they just, once Rapids got dialed in on their starting pitcher, that was it. I mean, and then they ended the game in the 6th by 10-run rule.
You have a good crowd there?
It was decent. I thought there would be more, seeing as, you know, Hermantown and Rapids
Yeah.
are playing up here. I can't imagine, you know, if they had to drive back down to North Branch to play that game. I mean, I know it hurts North Branch's gate. Maybe they thought they'd get some, but I can't see fans driving all that far, unless your parents or relatives or whatever, to go down there and watch a game. But it was a fun game to be at, no
Good.
doubt. So.
What else we got? I think that's it, isn't it? Baseball,
That
golf,
might be it.
track.
Everything else was done prior
Yeah.
to our show last week.
And we should say congratulations to all graduates for tomorrow night. They're having graduation ceremony, so that should be a fun night for a lot of people. So put it that way.
Well, and if you're listening,
Streamed.
What's that?
It'll be live streamed.
it will be live streamed on HPAT. I will be there taking pictures, so if you're watching this show, if you want to get in the paper, do something crazy. And maybe I'll get your picture.
Yeah.
So,
And we don't streak anymore, right?
no, we
No.
don't, no. No more streaking.
You remember that back in the day?
Maybe.
I graduated with over 900 kids. If someone streaked, nobody would notice.
Yeah. You don't hear about that much that often anymore.
No.
Somebody's streaking, but it happens every once in a while, I'm sure.
Yeah. All right.
And then then we're going to mention that the Oklahoma is being produced here.
Oh, the play. Yes.
At the musical that's going to be held in July. I'm not sure the dates.
And that's
I
through
can't
Community Ed, correct, Ron?
No, it's Masaba Theater.
Oh,
remember.
Masaba
Masaba Theater.
Okay.
We want to make sure we're right. We get you the facts right. But I read things and then I forget them. So
July 24th, 25th, and 27th.
24th through the 27th, July.
in July.
24th, 25th.
24th,
and
25th, and 27th, and we're at the Hibbing Auditorium.
Yep, it'll be a Thursday, Friday, and Sunday.
All right, Thursday,
Nice.
Friday, and Sunday at the Hibbing Auditorium.
And if
So,
it's like any of the other ones that have been put on this past year, it'll be good.
yeah, it seems like,
Some
you know,
good
of
talent.
course, I don't know a whole lot of the cast members
No.
personally, but yeah, I know, I'm sure there's some very talented people
Yep.
here, and Oklahoma's a fun musical to do. You know, I was in 2 musicals when I was,
Oh, really?
first dating my wife.
Shaft, and what was the other one?
Yeah, no, it wasn't Shaft. It was Music Man and Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh, that fits you perfect.
Yeah,
Fiddler
there
on
you
the
go.
Roof.
Yeah. I
What
was
did
gonna
you
say
play?
something else.
What did you play
No, I was
besides the fiddle?
I was just in the chorus, so I didn't have much. I had some lines in Music Man, but I didn't have any lines in
Oh, we'll
Fiddler.
probably get we'll probably get a few calls on that one.
So no, it was very fun. It was a fun thing to do. Vern Wenberg was directing at the time, and
I could just see someone out in the crowd. Hey, Gary, quit fiddling up there on the roof.
no, I wasn't the fiddler. I believe Marcus Karki was the fiddler.
Oh, Marcus.
Yeah,
Okay.
so if I remember right, but no,
I didn't know you were such a well-rounded
Yeah, I know, I-
individual.
And I never-
Plays, sports.
And I never had to audition.
Oh.
I was automatically put in. So,
Is that because of who you were dating at the
well,
time?
probably. That probably had a lot to do with it. Because I know he wanted her. She had one part in Music Man that he needed her to do. And then, I don't know about the,
Who that guy? Bring him along.
yeah. So, have fun with this. You know, I'm sure they all will. And we'll be looking forward to
Yeah.
watching it.
Yeah.
City Band, I would assume, is going to start playing here pretty soon.
June 25th will be the first one.
June 25th is the first concert in the park.
Every Wednesday night at
And
7 o'clock.
every Wednesday at 7 o'clock.
They have the band thing again this year that the Rice Center puts on in the park.
Oh, yeah, that will be on Thursday nights. That'll be Music in the Park.
Yeah, music in
That
the park.
starts the 19th
Yeah.
Okay.
of this month.
And that's July or
That'll be
June.
in the north end of
Yep.
Bennett Park.
And Little League and Minor League will be starting up. Miracle League already started last
Started.
week. And so tonight they'll be Thursday if it plays. they'll be
Legion will
playing
be
tonight.
starting. VFW will be starting. Hibbing Miners actually start tomorrow, Friday. They're down at a two. I don't know if it's a 2 or 4, 3-team tournament in Hinckley. So they start. I just talked to Adam Schaefer this morning, about how the team's going to be. And
Yep. Is Jamie having you with the team anymore?
no, but he is on the roster.
Oh, okay. So they
So-
bring him in for a ringer.
Yeah,
Good.
he's the ringer. He's their secret. When they're laying in the weeds,
Yeah.
it's Jamie Steinberg that's laying in the weeds. So,
How were things at the Hibbing Raceway the other night?
well, there was a fantastic crowd. I believe Bloomquist did a story. I'll give him the credit for that. He said there was a great crowd there, and the
Yeah,
races
where?
seemed to go off.
Tell them where. I said Hibbing Speedway. You didn't.
Yeah, at the Hibbing Speedway.
Yeah, Saturday nights, yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, if you two
Saturday.
want to sit here and critique and argue with one another.
No,
I'll
I don't
leave.
know where, I don't know, I don't know what he even was saying, but Bloomquist heard that there was a great crowd and the racing went off without a hitch, and Tyler Kittner won one of the, I think, the
Yep.
modified
Mod,
feature. They said the track, I guess some of the,
Track needs some work.
no, it does, but I also heard they liked the shape it was in,
Yep.
at least at this point.
And now they're gonna build a go-kart racing track on the
Oh.
in the infield, from what I
Oh.
heard, so,
There's probably a lot more room in there once they took everything out of there.
yeah.
But I don't know, I've heard that it's not banked high enough. I don't know how true that is. I mean, but, so that if it's one line racing, I don't, that's the thing, but you gotta be able to get up around at the top of the track.
Well, he said too, when he took it over, that, it's not gonna happen overnight. This is something that's gonna take a couple of years for him, so they're gonna have to, probably bring some more clay in and do some different things with the track, but, they, improved the sound system, the lighting, it seems to be better. Just the whole setup,
Mhm.
it looks a lot better, so. And not only are gonna race Saturdays, but they're gonna race different races during the week,
Mhm.
so, you hope for the best.
That's
That's all
right.
you can do.
Well, as long as they, just keep going.
Yep.
Keep chugging along, and, hopefully, I don't know what they'll do with the grandstand, but with that one section gone.
Oh, that's why the house looks filled.
Yeah, well,
Well, actually, there was not too many people sat over in the old wood section because their life insurance policies were lapsed. But I just think it's starting to draw different racers and different fans who are coming in, and hopefully, maybe someday we can get them to come on the show.
mhm,
You know,
yeah. So if you
Talk a little bit
if you
more
like,
about it.
yeah.
so
So, good for that.
yep.
Let's see what else.
Locally, I think that's it.
That would probably,
There's no golf tournaments coming up that,
no, no
we
golf.
have the high school tournament last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, the spring, if you're talking regular, the spring
Yeah.
classic will be coming up this
Yeah.
month. And there's a new
Chamber,
club pro.
Chamber will be having their,
Yeah, the Chamber and the Hibbing Blue Jacket one is probably coming up here too.
Is there a pickleball league?
there's a pickleball court.
Okay, but there's.
Not sure if there's a league or not. You'd have to check with the Park and Rec, I would assume, or,
Well, I could check with Trent Janisich
Yeah.
because I know he's big into that and he might know, but their courts seem to be filled every night.
Yep.
So people are enjoying themselves playing pickleball.
and,
Oh, tennis, we forgot tennis.
Oh, that's right, sorry.
Tennis had the
10 o'clock.
individual matches started today at 10 o'clock, and Isaiah Hildenbrand and Keaton Petrick are representing
Yep.
the Blue Jackets. They're playing a team from St. Peter, so hopefully they get past that match, stay in the winners bracket, and then they'll take on. If they win, they'll play a team from St. Paul Academy, Summit Academy or something.
Oh.
So a private school.
Private school.
And that team just won the state title yesterday, beating Rock Ridge 7-0.
Okay,
And Rock Ridge has had a good seed. They were undefeated going down there and won their first two matches, and then they got steamrolled by St. Paul Academy. So you can imagine how good those tennis players are in high school. So, yeah, no. So congratulations to Rock Ridge for getting down there and having a good showing. Second place, not bad.
and congrats to our two Hibbing kids that are down there.
That's it.
So-
Good. Keep win your first match, and they're both great kids, and they're kind of different. My story said they're kind of different. One was a basketball player and one's a hockey player. One's like 6'5", the other one's like 6 feet. So they're two totally different individuals. But when you put them on the tennis court,
They work well together.
they
Good.
do. So good luck to them.
Good, glad you caught that.
They're 4 minutes away from starting. So
I wonder if they're watching the show,
yeah,
for that,
little extra
encouragement.
Yep.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Hey, before we get started with our pro side of the program, we have to announce that today we have Strawberry Laka Moko Toko.
Berry Punch Shaker
Berry Punch Shaker.
from Caribou Coffee, our unofficial official sponsor of the
Yeah.
show.
Well, if the Exorcist movie had pink instead of green, that'd fit right in.
That's right. We're both
Some
kinda-
people will get that, some people won't.
I don't get it. So
Maybe.
right there.
All right, here we go. Twins.
Minnesota Twins.
4 in a row now, right?
3. I think they lost to
Oh, they lost to Seattle and then
last
won
game,
3,
and then
yeah.
now they beat Oakland. And playing in a minor league ballpark. If you watch, I've watched some
all
of the
3
games,
games,
and
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, other than the fans, the seating for fans. I mean, I don't know. It's just a baseball field.
Yeah, and you got people sitting out on the grass. It's like Florida,
Yeah,
And they're going to play there for 2 years
yeah. That was a real smart move
until Vegas is done.
by the Major League Baseball by allowing them to leave Oakland and
Yeah, well,
and then play in if it was last year and then moving this year into Las Vegas, that'd have been different.
yeah. Well, yeah, I got to believe that MLB is putting money into their program or into their system so that they can afford to pay the players and play the games but they still didn't have that big of a crowd for the 3 games I watched.
No. Well, they're not. I mean, they're better than the Rockies at this point,
Yeah.
but I don't know how much better.
Well, I think they lost 16 out of 18 or something.
Oh
They
yeah,
played
they've
last
lost
night.
a lot in a row.
And
So
then Pablo's out.
Pablo's out for 2 months at least with some kind of. It's not a tear in his shoulder. I can't remember the muscle though. I can't remember what the muscle is, but it's not a tear. So all he has to do is rehab it to get it better. So,
Twins going to put somebody on the trading block and get a starting pitcher
No.
somewhere.
You would think, except they don't have any owner.
They haven't ordered yet.
Well, I guess they're not in limbo yet, but they need somebody to step up and buy the team so we can get some of this stuff going here.
Well, if you just break open that piggy bank, we could do it.
Well, I don't want to do that.
And
Yeah.
Frost and the Lynx.
The Lynx are 9-0.
7, 8, or 9-0
9-0,
went in there.
yeah.
What I'd say last week, I said I want them to, despite the league, I want them to go undefeated. and then ripped through the playoffs after the way they got totally hosed
Screwed last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and they did. I was also brought the fact up that when the Los Angeles Sparks also won a title against the Lynx,
Yeah.
and the Lynx were a better team, and so they thought that way. I mean, obviously they're not throwing games or fixing games, but they're not. They don't seem legit.
Well, maybe the league is favoring one team over
Well,
another.
then no, and obviously
Not
they
fixing
need
it.
they need Los Angeles to win titles, and they
Yeah.
need New York to win titles.
No.
So we'll just let a girl travel. We'll let her go 5 steps without call a traveling call, and then we won't call a foul for pushing off or whatever it
Yeah.
was. And then when your commissioner's sitting there and I'm sorry if I'm boring people, but the commissioner's sitting there with a New York Liberty
Owner.
outfit on, with the owner.
Yeah.
And you go, huh? What? Come on. So go Lynx. I
Yep.
hope you destroy the league this year and win another title. Cheryl Reeves is one heck of a coach.
Yep.
So good luck to them.
Anyway, the big story now this morning was that Aaron Rodgers is waiting to see how McCarthy does.
Well, they're in their
The
OTAs,
OTAs.
aren't they? Yeah. So they're
Rod shakes his head.
he's waiting for Aaron Rodgers. to
Hey,
sign.
everybody hated it when Brett Favre came here, but boy, towards the end of the season, he could
Well,
do anything.
that worked out.
Taking
I'll tell you
photos
that.
of himself, whatever he wanted
Yeah,
to do.
oh yeah. That was his second year here, though. Don't misconstrue that to be his first year here, unless he was doing that his first year
Well,
here.
it was
And don't forget the Frost.
Oh yeah,
the Frost one, and yeah.
they won the Walter Cup for the second year in a row. But now they have to protect players because they're having an entry draft for the 2 expansion
Yeah, they
teams
get four,
coming in.
4 players from each team.
Yeah,
Is
something
how it
like
goes?
that. But I don't think they're going to lose some of their top players. But we'll see what happens. All right, well, we've come to an end of another show. So for Mike Egan, I'm Gary Gimbetti. We'll see you again on Home Team Advantage.
For over 25 years, U.S. Bank, located at 211 East Howard Street in Hibbing, Minnesota, has provided office and studio space for Hibbing Public Access Television. We are thankful for their ongoing support. Up North Lettering specializes in embroidery and heat vinyl press applications, along with patches and letter jackets. For more information, call them at 218-966-7850. HPAT would like to thank them for their donation and support. Hibbing Public Access Television is thankful for the donation and support of Hard Rock Liquor, located at 2826 First Avenue in Hibbing. And remember, it's where the party starts.